so much has changed and so much has remained the same.
Yeah, well, I want to get back to this Franklin stove thing. I'm a little disappointed. I thought you could cook and broil and do all kinds of cool stuff in it. Since we, on our Banter and Dish show, Ben, we like to talk about cooking. What's what's your experience with cooking? What do you have a favorite meal or recipe, or did you cook a lot back in your day?
I have a lot of experience with eating,
Oh,
not so much with cooking.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
Lloyd, we have Lloyd that makes appearances
yeah.
on the show, Jill's boyfriend, and he also seems to enjoy the eating part, right, Jill?
Yeah, right. He doesn't have a lot of experience with cooking either.
I could tell you a funny story. When I was in France, I often every evening was invited to dinner in one well-to-do family or another, or I always lived in boarding houses, so part of the rent included the meals that the keeper of the boarding house would prepare every evening. So the cooking was not part of much of my routine. When I was young and frugal, I sat out from eating the prepared meals in the boarding houses that I lived in. I spent that time up in my room reading.
Mhm.
I might have a piece of bread or and a cup of water, but but then I wouldn't have to pay additional rent for the food. You know, the board would be an add-on with the meals prepared. So I found that I could survive with just very meagerly use the money towards books purchasing, reading, and educating myself. So, but
Yeah.
I will say I did prepare in the morning. I would get some bread. I would get a wood bowl, pour some water or maybe milk if I had it, and mash it and make
Mm.
sort of a mush. And that would be my breakfast in the
Did
morning.
did you have any syrup to put on it?
I did not have syrup or spices or anything from the West Indies.
Man, that's a very easy recipe though.
That is.
Just
We should
water and bread,
he,
mash it
he
up.
would have won a t-shirt in our easy recipe challenge with that.
Well, it may have been easy, but those other ingredients were very expensive in the 18th
Mm,
century.
Yeah, yeah. We take that for granted nowadays, I guess.
yeah.
But not to
All the
deceive.
spices and stuff we have at our fingertips.
Yes, but you might be surprised to know we had meals, grand meals, in if you could afford it. But most people ate beef, poultry, fish, fowl. You know,
Mm.
so there
Sounds like a vegetarian's delight.
Were
vegetables.
were there any vegetarians back in the 1700s? I'm curious. Do you know of any vegetarians, Ben?
Yes, I know of a very good person that's I'm very familiar with that was a vegetarian, and that was myself. I spent
Oh,
my teenage years as a vegetarian.
I did
Oh
not know
wow.
that.
Look
That
at that.
I had no interest in eating flesh.
Hmm.
Now, as I became older and living near the sea, the ocean, through much of my career, I was born in Boston, and the harbor, or as the Bostonians say today, the harbor, not far. And the fishermen would come in, and I had to, as a young boy, I would take note of what all the activities were in the harbors, and the fish would come in. I would watch the fishermen. Um, you gut and prepare the cod, or as the Bostonians say today, the cod. We would, and I noticed that some of the cod that as they pulled out the belly of the fish and opened up, other smaller fish would fall out.
Oh.
Thought, my God, if you're eating each other,
Right.
certainly I have no more qualms now about eating you.
There you go.
I abandoned my vegetarian life.
I guess that would do it.
Well,
And it
yeah.
can be quite an advantage to be able to enjoy all sorts of food because in my negotiations, my time in trying to influence and gain favor for the colony, dining in some of these influential places, you would not turn away something and you would not want to insult your host. So
Right.
I got quite used to eating.
Hmm.